Before you scroll away, what if I told you that July 26th is not just another date on the calendar? What if this is the day heaven has been preparing you for all along? You didn't click on this video by accident. Someone needs to hear this today, because while you've been wondering if God forgot about you, heaven has never stopped writing your story. Stay with me until the very end, because there's one powerful truth that could completely change the way you see your current situation. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Stop scrolling for just 30 seconds, because this message may be exactly what you needed to hear today. July 26th isn't just another day on the calendar. If you've been feeling forgotten, exhausted, or wondering if your prayers are reaching heaven, don't leave yet. What I'm about to share could completely change the way you see your life. Heaven never stopped writing your story, even when you couldn't see a single page being written. Stay until the end, because your breakthrough may be much closer than you think. 1. God is working behind the scenes. Have you ever felt like everyone else's life is moving forward while yours seems stuck in the same place? You pray, you wait, you hope. But day after day, nothing seems to change. The silence can be overwhelming. It can make you wonder if God has forgotten your name, or if your prayers have somehow gone unheard. But what if the silence doesn't mean God is absent? What if He's simply working where your eyes can't see? Think about a seed buried deep beneath the soil. If you looked at the ground, you would see nothing but dirt. It appears lifeless. It appears forgotten. Yet beneath the surface, something incredible is happening. Tiny roots are stretching deeper. Strength is forming. Life is preparing to break through at exactly the right time. Your life may look the same today, but that doesn't mean heaven is standing still. God often does His greatest work behind the scenes. While you're waiting, He's arranging the right opportunities. He's protecting you from things you don't even know about. He's building the character you'll need for the blessing that's coming. Sometimes we mistake God's silence for His absence. But silence doesn't mean inactivity. It means preparation. Imagine watching a movie that suddenly pauses before the biggest scene. You might think nothing is happening. But the story isn't over. The most powerful moment is still ahead. The same is true for your life. You are not buried by your circumstances. You are planted with purpose. And planted things don't stay underground forever. They grow, they rise, they bloom. So if you've been asking, God, where are you? Maybe the better question is, God, what are you preparing me for? Because your breakthrough doesn't begin the day you finally see it. It begins the moment God starts working behind the scenes. And maybe, just maybe, that work has already begun. Don't lose hope now. The chapter you're living today is not the end of your story. It's the quiet beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. 2. Delays are not denials. Have you ever asked yourself, if God promised something, why is it taking so long? That's a question almost everyone has asked at some point. When days turn into months and months turn into years, it's easy to believe that the delay means the dream is over. You begin comparing your life to everyone else's. You watch people celebrate the very things you've been praying for. Slowly, disappointment whispers, maybe it just wasn't meant for you. But don't believe that lie. A delay is not the same as a denial. God's timing has never been controlled by our calendars. He sees what we can't see. While we're focused on the destination, He's focused on preparing us for what comes after we arrive. Think about a master builder constructing a skyscraper. Before anyone sees the beautiful building, months are spent digging deep into the ground. The foundation takes longer than the walls, because the greater the blessing, the stronger the foundation must be. Maybe that's exactly what God is doing in your life. He's strengthening your faith before He increases your responsibility. He's building your character before He opens the door. Because blessings that arrive before you're ready can become burdens instead of gifts. Look at the lives of people throughout Scripture. Many of them experienced long seasons of waiting before stepping into their purpose. Their waiting wasn't empty, it was preparation. Every delay shaped them into the people they needed to become. So if you're in a waiting season today, don't assume God has forgotten you. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's answering them in a way that protects your future. Sometimes the opportunity you desperately want today would actually hurt you if it came too soon. That's why God's not yet is often one of His greatest acts of love. Here's something to hold on to. Every closed door is not a punishment. Every unanswered prayer is not a rejection. Sometimes God says, wait, because He's arranging something far better than what you're asking for. One day you'll look back and realize that every delay had a purpose. Every setback redirected you. Every season of waiting prepared you for a blessing that was worth every moment. So don't lose heart. Your breakthrough hasn't been cancelled. It's simply being prepared. And when God's perfect timing meets your prepared heart, you'll understand why heaven never rushed the process. 3. Your current battle isn't your final chapter. Can I ask you something? What if the hardest season of your life isn't proof that you're losing, but evidence that you're closer to your breakthrough than you've ever been before? Right now, you may feel surrounded by problems that refuse to go away. Maybe your finances are under pressure. Maybe your family is struggling. Maybe you've been carrying emotional pain that no one else knows about. Every morning feels like another battle, and every night ends with the same unanswered questions. If that's where you are today, I want you to hear this clearly. Your current battle is not your final chapter. Too many people make the mistake of believing that today's circumstances will define tomorrow's future. But that's not how God writes stories. Every great story has a moment when everything seems impossible. The hero feels exhausted. The dream appears dead. The future looks uncertain. If you stopped reading the story at that point, you would think everything was over. But the ending hasn't been written yet. The same is true for your life. God never judges your future by your present circumstances. He sees the complete picture while we only see one page. The pain you're experiencing today may actually be preparing you for the purpose you've been praying for. Think about how a diamond is formed. It doesn't become valuable in comfort. It becomes valuable under intense pressure. The pressure doesn't destroy the diamond. It reveals what it was always meant to become. Maybe that's exactly what's happening in your life. The pressure isn't here to break you. It's here to strengthen your faith, deepen your character, and prepare you for responsibilities you couldn't handle a year ago. Sometimes God allows us to walk through storms because storms reveal things that peaceful seasons never could. They reveal our courage. They reveal our faith. They reveal how much we've grown. And most importantly, they remind us that God is the one who carries us when our own strength runs out. So don't let today's struggle convince you that tomorrow has no hope. This chapter may be filled with tears, disappointment, and unanswered questions, but it is still only a chapter, not the entire story. One unexpected phone call can change everything. One opportunity can open doors you've waited years to see. One answered prayer can completely transform your future. Never underestimate what God can do in a single moment. The breakthrough you've been praying for may already be moving toward you, even if you can't see it yet. So keep believing when it's difficult. Keep praying when it feels quiet. Keep trusting when nothing makes sense. Because God has never abandoned a story that He started. He finishes what He begins. And if He's still writing your story today, then your best chapter is not behind you. It's still ahead. So don't close the book because of one painful page. Hold on. Stay faithful. Your battle may be real, but it is temporary. Your pain may be deep, but it is not permanent. And one day you'll look back at this very season and realize it wasn't the chapter that defeated you. It was the chapter that prepared you for everything God had planned all along. 4. Heaven is aligning. What you can't see. Have you ever walked into a room after someone spent hours preparing it? The lights are perfectly placed, the table is set, every detail is exactly where it belongs, yet you never saw the work that happened before you arrived. That's often how God works. Long before you see the blessing, heaven has already begun preparing the path. Right now, there are things happening that you know absolutely nothing about. Conversations are taking place. Doors are quietly opening. Opportunities are moving closer. People you haven't even met yet are being positioned to become part of your story. While you're wondering why nothing is changing, God is aligning everything you cannot see. One of the hardest parts of faith is trusting God when there is no visible evidence. We naturally want signs. We want immediate answers. We want proof that our prayers are making a difference. But faith has never been about seeing first. Faith is believing that God is working even when your circumstances seem completely unchanged. Think about a master chess player. Before making one move, they already know the next 10 moves ahead. Their strategy isn't random. Every move has a purpose. God is infinitely greater. He sees every detail of your future before you even take your next step. What feels confusing to you today is already clear to Him. The delay you're frustrated by may actually be protecting you from something you can't see. The opportunity that disappeared may have saved you from the wrong direction. The relationship that ended may have made room for someone who truly belongs in your future. Sometimes God's greatest blessings arrive disguised as disappointments. That's why we should never judge God's plan by today's emotions. Our feelings change. God's purpose never does. There may be moments when heaven feels silent, but silence does not mean abandonment. A teacher is often silent during the test, not because the teacher has disappeared, but because it's time for the student to trust what they've already learned. The same is true with God. His silence is often an invitation to trust Him more deeply. Remember this: God was preparing David in lonely fields before anyone ever called him king. He was preparing Esther long before she wore a crown. He was preparing Joseph through years of hardship before placing him in a position that would save countless lives. None of them could see the entire picture while they were living through it. Neither can you. But that doesn't mean the picture isn't being painted. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've cried, every act of faith you've shown, none of it has been wasted. Heaven records what the world overlooks. God notices what others ignore. And He has a remarkable way of connecting today's hidden moments with tomorrow's public miracles. So don't become discouraged just because you can't see movement. The roots of a tree grow deep underground long before anyone admires its branches. Preparation is invisible, but the results are undeniable. If God has given you a promise, keep holding on. If He placed a dream in your heart, don't bury it because of temporary disappointment. Trust His timing, trust His wisdom, trust His process. Because even now, while you're listening to these words, heaven is arranging details that your eyes cannot yet see. The breakthrough you've been praying for isn't lost. It's being aligned. And when the right moment finally arrives, you'll look back and realize that God wasn't late for a single second. He was working behind every scene, aligning every detail and writing a story far greater than you could have imagined. If today has been difficult, hear this with your heart. Your tears have not been ignored. Your prayers have not expired. Your faith has not been wasted. Every moment you've trusted God, even when nothing changed, has been building something greater than you can imagine. This could be the season where everything starts making sense. The waiting, the pain, the disappointments, the unanswered questions. One breakthrough can erase years of discouragement. One answered prayer can change an entire family's future. One opportunity can rewrite your story forever. Don't give up 5 minutes before your miracle, because heaven has never stopped writing your story. If this message spoke directly to your heart, don't ignore that feeling. Take it as a reminder that hope is still alive. Comment below, "My breakthrough is near," not because you've already seen it, but because you're choosing faith over fear. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember, the story isn't over. As long as God is writing, there is always another chapter. Your breakthrough may be closer than you've ever imagined. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next message.